Hello, I'm Jessica Evans with Love of DC Real Estate, and today I am here to talk about home inspections. So most people have a general idea of what a home inspection is when you're buying or selling a home. When you're buying or selling, it's usually something you're a little anxious about or intimidated about. Part of it might be because there's just not a great understanding of what a home inspection is. So I wanted to share a little bit more information about home inspections. A home inspection is a visual inspection of a home where a licensed home inspector goes into a house and they are going to look at everything they can see and they are going to test what they can test. So if they can test appliances, mechanical systems, they're going to do that. They're going to look at the structure of the home to the extent that it is visible. And they are going to look all around the outside, look for signs of leaks. Not a lot of inspectors, but a lot of inspectors that we work with utilize tools and technology to allow them to see whether there are leaks using thermal imaging, or use a drone to see the roof really up close and in detail. Those are all great. So anything that can be seen without cutting open walls or disturbing the seller's belongings is what is going to be looked at. So it's not 100%. There's no possible way to, peel back the walls and see what's going on behind there, to see what's going on with the electrical wiring or the plumbing. So it's always going to be not 100%. And the intent of a home inspection for a buyer is that it provides a buyer with information they need to make an informed decision of the house. It's not going to find every flaw or issue. And that's unfortunately just the reality of it. It's not possible to see everything. Home inspectors will often recommend, if something does not appear to be working properly, that a appropriately licensed tradesperson is brought in to evaluate it. So they might be able to say, I don't think this air conditioner is working properly, but they are not certified to diagnose exactly what the issue is. So home inspection reports often have recommendations for what should be evaluated by an additional certified tradesperson, and that's a really important step after you have a home inspection to take those steps, partly for preventative maintenance and to make sure everything's in normal working order. A home inspection is not a certification, it is not a guarantee, it's not a pass-fail situation. It is an informational process that is intended to help a buyer with this big decision, whether this home that they're going to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on is in the condition that they are expecting. And I think sellers are largely very afraid of home inspections for a good reason, because as agents, we have all had transactions where buyers have submitted requests for repairs that are frankly not within the scope of an inspection contingency. And when a seller has taken their house off the market, in good faith, planning to sell it to a buyer who then is asking for upgrades, that's really frustrating for a seller. And so that, I think, is one of the reasons why contracts without inspection contingencies have become so popular, because I think some buyers have kind of taken advantage of it. Now, it's not to say that I truly believe that, buyers should negotiate inspection repairs, and I take that responsibility when I'm working with a buyer very seriously. But I'm also counseling them and guiding them in the process. And things like bringing something up to code, that's not really realistic for older houses. Housing codes change over time. So something that was built in 1940 was built to a different building code than something that would be built in 2020. And an inspection might note that this is not to code. But the purpose of an inspection or requesting inspection repairs is not to turn a 1940s house into a 2020 house. It's to provide the buyer with the information that building codes have changed. So a good rule of thumb, I think, when you get an inspection report back is if there are things that are not in normal working order, where issues were not disclosed by the sellers and you weren't able to tell when you viewed the home that it wasn't in normal working order, that's something where it makes sense to ask the seller to fix it if it's a negotiable situation. things like cleaning, cosmetic improvements, those are not within the scope of a home inspection. So that's my 2 cents on it. I think having realistic expectations both as a buyer and a seller, knowing that as a seller, you're not going to be happy with those requests that you get, no matter what they are. I mean, you might think a few of them are fair, but largely as a seller, you're like, who are these people? What are they thinking? But I think we really just have to think objectively when it comes to home inspections and home inspection reports and repair requests. I think let's think about it in terms of the big picture and scope of things, and just work to get through it as smoothly as possible. That's always our goal.